Hi, it's
Hi.
eXhuming the X-Files. Here on
It
Outpost
is!
Unknown. We're
We're
here.
back, baby!
My name is Matthew. You are?
I'm Jeremy. Jeremy?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
It's
too.
been a while since we spoke. How have you been the past week or so?
Living in 2025.
Okay,
Just trying.
you haven't seen any like spirits, right? Some foreboding apparitions.
No, I just focus on organizing my shoes and counting random numbers, and that just makes the ghosts not there.
Welcome, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe. We're here every Friday talking about X-Files, going all the way through Season 11. We are on Episode 22 of Season 4. This one's called Elegy, directed by James Charleston and written by John Shaban. And yeah, we're going to talk some ghosts this week. So we're getting into a little bit of horror, a little bit of gore, a little bit of maybe problematic, uncomfortable, topics that X-Files likes to delve into. I had no memory of this episode. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And I feel I would have made fun of this episode a lot. So,
as high schoolers, yes, we probably would have. So yeah, this was kind of new to me. Let's talk about it.
It's closing time at a bowling alley, and a dude is walking around picking up garbage out by the lanes and such. And he goes over, and there's a guy standing there. He's organizing all the shoes, just show the 6.5s by the 6.5s, the 8s by the 8s, and he's really, really super focused on it. And he's just like, Harold, you don't need to do all that. You need to go home. They're going to be expecting you at home. And Harold just almost immediately flies into kind of an angry rage.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking hard R and wants to do the shoes just so.
Yeah.
He ends up, like, while he's raging there, the owner or whatever worker calms him down, sends him on home, and right after he sends him home, like, the guy just starts mumbling numbers and stuff like that. Like, he's chanting it, and it's kind of weird, and he walks off, and he's doing that. And then all of a sudden, like, one of the bowling lanes, the pin setters starts acting up. And instead of going behind the entire bowling alley to where the pin setter machinery is at to look from the top down, which is normally what they do when they repair it, he walks down a completely greased lane, which they do about 4 times in this episode. It makes no fucking sense. Have you ever stepped onto a freshly... Oh man, yeah. You're going down.
You're going down. Yeah, you're going down.
So it's malfunctioning. He walks straight down one of the lanes. It returns a ball, and the ball has blood on it.
Yeah.
So he goes down there. He sees all of this pool of blood pooling up, kind of dripping down from above the machinery. And then he looks up, and he sees some girl, like, with a huge, like, it's dark, shady at night. She's just very pale. Her throat is slit, and she's just bleeding everywhere, and she's kind of mouthing something to him. So he freaks out and stays on his feet, never falling once on a greased, bowling alley while he runs down it, because he sees cops outside. And so he runs outside, and he's like, officer, there's a girl. She's bleeding in my bowling alley. And they don't even stop him from walking up to this car door of some investigation that they're doing live, because there's a dead body, like, right next to where they're having this conversation.
Yeah.
And he looks at this girl, and it's a blonde that doesn't look anything like the girl that's in the bowling alley. Brightly lit. She's freshly dead. She's wearing different clothes, it looks like. And he looks at her and is like, oh my God, it's the girl in the alley, or in my bowling alley. And then we get the title screen.
Yeah. I was like, it is? That was my comment. I was like, it is?
Yeah.
I will say the shot, when we first see the shot of the girl kind of like pinned above, like, the pin setter thing, that looked awesome. I thought that looked absolutely fantastic, especially in high definition. That effect held up, of that sort of like dead ghost girl sort of thing. Every other shot and I'm spoiling it here. Every other shot of a dead person, a ghost in this episode, looked like absolute dog shit in high definition. It was
Yeah.
so horrible.
Like
Like
Goosebumps, the television show level special effects. Bad.
yeah, it was so bad, except for that opening shot of her wedged in there. I think that looked cool to me. But I don't know. Your thoughts on this opener?
Um, it wasn't the same girl, and we both said the exact same thing because I put a note in here like it's not the same girl, but
Is it?
but I I don't know. Did Harold fly into a rage because he didn't get a finish order organizing the shoes, and he went out and just ganked a girl in her car immediately? That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Like, okay, I guess I could get behind this.
yeah. This opening also made me feel like, oh God, what are we in for here? As you have correctly pointed out in previous episodes that deal with sort of like minorities of any kind, X Files does not do the best job of positive representation of those individuals.
No, they
You know,
drop a hard. They drop a hard R in this
oh, I know,
episode.
I know, but I'm talking about the opener here. That's all I'm talking about at the moment. I was like, this is going to make me feel very uncomfortable because I don't trust that the writers of this show, they might have good intentions, right? I don't think that any of these writers have negative intentions when they're, doing werewolf, episodes of with Native Americans, or you get the athlete's foot episodes with people from Mexico or whatever. I don't think they got bad intentions. I just don't think they properly are cognizant of some of the issues that's. I guess in the '90s it was different, right? Everyone always says that. It's like in the '90s things were different. When you look at it in the lens of 2025, some of these things don't look the greatest. And in this opener, I was like, oh no, like what are we in for here? What are we in for here? And we are in for a literal hard R dropped by a character in this. It's just kind of like ah. So that's how I was. I
90s
was
was
feeling
a different
reticent.
time.
I was feeling reticent to watch this one. I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, so post title screen, Scully is tying on some shoes at the bowling alley, while the Mulder and the owner are laying on the lane instead of behind the pin setters like they own the place again. Scully lays like she creeps up behind him, also not slipping.
She should have just slid like on her chest down the lane and just rolled up right in between the two of them and acted like it was a normal thing. That would have been amazing.
Scully lays out everything we saw in the pre-title screen verbally, and then immediately turns around and walks away like she doesn't believe what's going on. And then Mulder sends the owner away. It's like, "Hey, I'm thirsty. Would you go give me a soda?" Like, okay, guy investigating this stuff, and he starts dressing her down. And then he like a no cut shot. They've done this before, I think, with a basketball or something. But there's this no cut shot where Boulder grabs a bowling ball, sends it down the lane,
Yeah.
strike. It's so sweet when they get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And he's so smooth about it too. And he rolls right into his line of dialogue like it's nothing. Can you imagine if he would have fucked up his line there and then they have to just keep doing it over take after take until he hits that strike again?
I I want to believe that he just did it in one take.
Oh, for
He's
sure.
just got that kind of swagger about him.
I choose to believe it.
I want to believe. So Um, he comes back with a soda. They go back down there, and Mulder he's like, "Where was the blood stain at?" Right here, and he pours the soda onto the lane to the shock of the owner guy for no reason. He poured that soda for no fucking reason. But
Swinging his dick around.
see, he all of a sudden it reveals because the soda settles out in these scratch marks that are in the wax that says "She is me," a line that is repeated over and over and over again in this episode for no reason other than a writer really liked how it sounded because it's
Yeah.
so lame. What is it? They end up at they go. There's another one of those scenes where Mulder and Scully show up in an official capacity at somebody's investigation. Now they did this previously during that plane crash UFO episode where he shows up and just immediately starts talking fucking nonsense
Yeah.
to the guy that's investigating it. So they're uncooperative and they don't believe you right off the bat. And so of course he's talking about there's a bunch of killings that have been happening in the area with throats getting slit of these young girls. And Mulder starts talking about, maybe what is it? What is the Irish form of the ghost that he just conjures up out of his ass?
Oh,
Did he say
it's
a
like a
wraith?
banshee or something?
Something like of all the ghosts he could have. Anyway, he just starts saying that, have you looked into the fact that maybe these murders are being committed by a ghost? And he's like, who the fuck are you coming into this meeting? Oh, we're the FBI. You shouldn't be following FBI protocols in this one, though. It doesn't make any sense because
Yeah.
you
Because
can't
they're
apply the laws to ghosts.
Yeah, because they are literally like, we're going to follow the FBI's playbook to the T on this case, and we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then Mulder's like, yeah, I'm with the FBI. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, because
Ghosts. It's ghosts.
ghosts don't have profiles. And so they leave there and they go to a room full
Oh, no.
of institutionalized people because somebody made a call that has not been talked about, but from a payphone inside this institution. Like, do you remember who called about what? They
I
called the
thought it.
police, but
I thought it was Harold that called, but he called from this sort of institution, and then they were trying to figure out which of the institutionalized people was the one that made the call.
what was the call about? Like, they talking about the?
I thought it was about the girl who died in the opening. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, but Harold had just left. Like, just walked out, or he had just walked out after having his tantrum. And then he saw the bleeding girl in the bowling alley and then talked to the police outside. That all happened inside of 10 minutes.
Oh, I thought I thought he saw the ghost and then left, and it was the bowling alley owner that they were talking to outside.
No, the bowling alley owner saw the ghost. And then he saw the cop. This is all pre-title screen.
Okay, yeah, I'm confused now. Now you've
No,
got me confused.
the bowling alley, because Harold has his fit and gets sent home. Just goes home. And then immediately after he walks out of the front door, the back door, whatever door Harold left out of, the pin setter started acting up. So he immediately walks over to that. You think he's going to get killed, sees the ghost girl. He's like, ah! And then the cops start
Okay.
pulling up outside with their sirens just going. And he runs outside and says, officer, there's a dead girl. And then that. So there was no time for Harold to go make that call. So what
So
call?
I just looked this up because now I'm confused as well, and I don't know. So according to this is another one of those things we just had in like the last episode, right? A random call. It says Detective Hudak tells Mulder and Scully that an anonymous caller phoned 911 with a message regarding Penny Timmons, one of the killer's victims. The caller claimed that Timmons' last words were "She is me." And Hudak notes, however, that the victim's larynx was severed, making it impossible for her to utter dying words. So it seems like it was just the detective says we got an anonymous call that this happened, which is then leading Mulder and Scully to go investigate where the call came from.
And so they walk into a room full of people who are clearly mentally deficient. And they start asking, they hold up a picture of a girl like, who is this? And everybody knows because apparently her face has been plastered all over the news. And she's like, yeah, that's that girl that got murdered. Like, okay, great. Then they hold up a picture of, I believe, Jay Leno. and they all know who he is. Like, yeah, that's the guy who did it. And Mulder just hyper focuses in on Harold because Harold is not responding.
Yeah, he's quiet.
But he's not really looking suspicious. He looks non-verbal. You know?
Yeah, yeah, but that's enough for Mulder.
Yep. Yep. He zeroes in on him. Probably wants to see his ass crack. That's the worst.
Oh, jeez.
Why did he focus on the plumber 2 episodes ago? Matt.
Now you're king shaming Mulder. God. Jeez.
He doesn't feel the shame. That dude's just letting his freak flag fly. So, what is it? He focuses in on Harold. He corners him and starts grilling him about what's going on and then he mentions like a ghost. And it's clear from like the very beginning of the conversation with Harold that he's just about to snap.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like to be talked to about anything, it seems like. And that doesn't seem like he's guilty. That seems more like his mental issue, whatever that is. He just can't take confrontation and stuff like that. And you should be sensitive to that. But Mulder was not. Mulder just showed up and decided to set his ass off.
To me, Harold, how Harold is portrayed in this episode, he seems so mentally handicapped that it felt completely bizarre to me that Mulder and Scully were even interrogating this guy. Like, maybe that's not how it was supposed to come out, but it just felt like, wow, this guy is like really, if any lawyer were there, it'd be like, you can't talk to this guy. This guy doesn't have the faculties to be able to explain anything that's going on here to you. It felt strange to me.
It did because he couldn't have that basic conversation, and that
Yeah.
was clear from the opening scene he was in. But not even Scully has a conscience here and steps in and says, leave him alone.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable to watch.
And then as they're walking away, Scully decides to bail on the entire situation because she has a nosebleed. She needs to go get it checked. So she leaves the entire investigation to Mulder and just takes off. Then we have this weird scene with Harold where he sees all of the ghosts of the girls that are dead. And he's like, I want to make love to all, or something like that.
What?
Yeah. He just wanted, he's sitting in the back room of the bowling alley, and he has like 8 girl ghosts around him. And he's like, I just want to make love to all of you, or something like that.
I don't remember that at all.
Because the episode is still trying to make you believe that he is the guy that killed him. You must have been grabbing a sandwich or something, and I completely understand. PB&J.
I remember the ghost girls. I don't remember him saying he wants to make love to all of them. I mean, I don't know where I was, but
you're in a happier place, man. I was here.
Okay.
And then I have this note here that there's so much shit going on right now about Scully's cancer issue that the next 2 episodes for sure are going to be a to be continued situation. That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Because they're doing this, you got to remember that Scully has cancer. Doesn't have anything to do with this episode, but it will soon.
Yeah, and we're running out of episodes in the season.
She has to talk to a because she has the bloody nose. She goes into a bathroom to take care of it, and she sees one of the ghosts in the bathroom, and it's bad. It was so bad. But what's funny is like Mulder doesn't even leave her enough time to go to the bathroom. Not number 1, certainly not number 2. Before he's like, "Hey, Scully, get out of the bathroom."
Scully, can I come in?
Yeah, we got places to go. You pinch it off.
Pinch a loaf, Scully.
So
You don't need to
insensitive.
wipe. I won't judge. Just let's go.
So she has to leave, and she goes and sees her doctor, and then sees a shrink about seeing the ghosts, and she's really really worried that she saw it because she had not seen that particular body yet. And so she's wondering, why did I see this girl before she died, or as she died, or something like that.
Yeah.
But the shrink has, like, this has everything to do with your cancer and your worries about it. It has nothing to do with that. And then she's in a bathrobe at her apartment, and I was like, Mulder shows up. And I was like, the last time Mulder showed up at her place, he had a wine bottle, but this
Yeah.
time it's all business. Says that Harold is so incredibly fixated on the bowling patrons. He has some, or yeah, because he basically hangs out and lives in the back room of the bowling alley, which is why we couldn't go back there earlier, because they would have seen all of the shit everywhere. He has people's cards of specific bowling scores that he has, and Mulder kind of puts it out there that Harold has such a connection to these customers at the bowling alley that he's created some sort of psychic link with them.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite time travel jump to conclusion, but it was up there with some bullshit that he just made up.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Spoiler, I hate this episode.
Good,
I
good.
hate it. I hate it.
So we get back. Chuck is going, or sorry, not Chuck. Harold is back in the institution. Chuck wakes up. Chuck is some other dude another hard R that's in the institution. And I think I've seen this guy play other roles, and in different television shows and stuff. So like, I can't believe that you're doing this stuff
Yeah.
because it's so gross. It feels
Yeah.
like, but he wakes up because they're taking. He's Harold's best friend, and he's being taken back to bed. Chuck is kind of suspicious about it. Harold refuses to take his pills, and then his nurse just starts in on him. Like,
Yeah.
no one could love you. You're so ugly. Drops the hard R just straight
Yeah.
on him. And what I remember about her in particular was she has this old ass face, like just old bag, old lady. But her hairstylist, for a nurse in an institution, her hairstylist, like that hair looked like somebody, or like Dana Scully's hair, almost in quality. Like it was perfectly coiffed and colored. And it almost looked so out of place, like she was wearing a wig. But I stared quite closely at the rest of this episode. No, it's her real hair.
Huh.
I'm sure you wanted to
Interesting.
know.
Thanks.
So while she's going all crazy on him and she's trying to force Harold to take his pills, Harold attacks her. And she cries out. The FBI shows up because they're still hanging out in the place. Harold knows that the nurse was poisoning him because he told Chuck. And Chuck
Yeah.
is spilling his guts at this point. He's like, he wouldn't hurt anybody. He just had all of these pictures of the girls down at the bowling alley because he loved them. But he wouldn't do anything wrong. So somehow, or Scully knows the nurse had something to do with it at this point just by talking to Chuck, and goes to confronts her.
It's the best part of the episode right here.
Starts kicking her ass a little bit, but then gets body slammed. Like, she goes down hard enough, she flies about 10 feet away and rolls over, draws down on her, says, freeze, and then just pops her.
Yeah. This is great because she's got that that scalpel that she's kind of hiding behind her thing, and then her and Scully. These women are like 5 feet tall, and they just start going at it, throwing each other
Yeah.
around. I'm like, it's good to see Scully get into some physical action. and
but
draw her
she
piece again.
but she also gets her ass kicked by an old ass lady.
Yeah, but she's got cancer, Jeremy. Give her a break.
Okay. God, you're right. You're so right all the time, and it makes me sick. So Scully pops her in the shoulder, not killing her. Immediately pins all of the the murders on the nurse, and they start talking about why. Um, they talk about how Harold stopped his meds, which it was okay. It was trying to tie the story up, but I have no reason to believe that the nurse, outside of saying or treating Harold like shit, that she would have gone out of her way to kill anybody. But she did body slam Scully pretty hard, so maybe she had that sort of strength. But anyway, um, they have a confrontation. Mulder and Scully have a confrontation about the ghost that Scully saw, and she
Mm.
says that she's not just here a part of his investigation about that. She's not here about the ghost. She's not trying to find an answer. She's just telling Mulder that I'm just here for you, and Mulder just starts calling her bullshit out.
He gets pretty pissed off at
Yeah,
her too. Like,
because she's just trying to hang all of the responsibility of her sickness on him at this point, kind of. And she says she knows that she's afraid of dying. The doctor said she was fine, but that doesn't seem like it's the truth. And it seems like all that Scully has left, other than death, is the job. And that's just kind of how the episode
yeah.
ends.
Well, they have that moment earlier on in the episode when I think it's Mulder that talks about the ghosts and the fact that when they see these ghosts, it's like I guess what do they call it? Like a premonition. The person's gonna die. Like if you see a ghost, that means you're gonna die soon or something. It's hard to sort of like they didn't do a great job of like connecting it, but that's why like when Scully sees the ghost of this woman, it's like the a premonition of her own death. And so even though the doctors are telling her she's fine, um, she starts thinking, "Oh my gosh, like then I'm gonna die." Because Mulder at that point later on, when they're having this sort of like row back and forth, when he's kind of yelling at her, she's like, "I saw one of these ghosts," and he's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And she's like, "Well, she gives her excuse, and he basically is like, look." If you don't tell me the truth and be upfront with me, like you're no better than everyone else that's trying to like take me down and fuck me over and stuff. And he was kind of pissed off with her about that. And she was just kind of like, wow. So that was actually kind of like a nice moment of tension between the two. Because we, like you said, one of the problems that the show always does is, and you've articulated this very well throughout the numerous seasons we've watched this, is oh yeah, remember this? We're gonna sprinkle this in because we're gonna have an episode about it coming up. So here's a lone gunman, or here's this, or here's that, and that's. I wish that they would, tie this stuff together more throughout more episodes. Because there's episodes where we don't get anything. Like if your partner has terminal cancer, even though the doctor said it's gone away, we know she's been abducted, all this stuff like that. There's some heavy trauma there that you'd be dealing with, even if it's an offhand comment from episode to episode. It doesn't have to be a main focus, but just hey, how you
Yeah.
feeling? How you
Yeah.
feeling?
Hey, Scully, how's the cancer?
Yeah. Not like, hey, you got to go take a shit. Well, actually, come out right now because you got to go do my thing here. It feels a little weird that they don't mention this stuff and then they're just be like, remember this heavy shit, viewers? Now we're gonna get back into it. The tone can be a little off, but I did like that moment between her and Mulder.
It was the only good part of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did you think overall?
It's just another example, as you mentioned early on in the episode, where they don't mean to pick out a minority and be insensitive about it, but they manage to do it anyway.
Yes.
And so this episode was not fun to watch in a lot of spots, and it started that way once Harold threw that fit about the shoes pre-title screen. Like
Yep.
You never really recover in this episode from feeling that way.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. This just felt kind of icky to watch, especially, and I know that it's like, I think they mentioned that Harold has like extreme autism or something. It doesn't come across that way. It comes across very kind of like over the top, stereotypical. This person has a severe mental disability. um, and it just felt icky. It felt like, again, getting back to the worst parts of the early season for me, where Mulder just comes across as an asshole, and he came across as an asshole in a lot of parts of this episode, especially when he's dealing with Harold. And it just, man, it just was not a pleasant watch at all. And we were on a fairly good, solid trajectory, and then this episode is like, oh god, brought me back down to earth. But do we have any trivia here? I got just a little bit.
How many pounds of bees do you think they just
John Shaban, the writer, was inspired to pen the episode after he and his future wife were visiting her dying father in a hospital. According to Shaban, his father-in-law kept looking around the room as if gazing at other people. However, Shaban and his partner were the only visitors in the room. Eventually, Shaban's father-in-law asked the two who else was in the room, and when they responded that only they were visiting him, he seemed perplexed and kept looking around the room. Shaban began to wonder, quote, if a dying person might be able to look through the cracks into the next world, unquote, which he developed into a story about a haunted bowling alley because it just seemed right. Strange that a haunted bowling alley would get you there from that idea, but I love that idea. I think that idea was great. I think putting it into problematic minorities with extreme mental disabilities, not the right move, but the idea is sound. The production crew asked a number of bowling alleys if they would let the show film in their space, but many were reluctant, as it would require them to close down for 3 days and thereby lose revenue. Eventually, the Thunderbird Bowling Center gave the show permission to film in their building under the stipulation that the show leave the bowling surfaces as they were. This forced the production staff to either wear bowling shoes or wear makeshift paper booties on their feet so as not to scratch the wooden lanes. In between camera setups, Duchovny and director Charleston bowled together. Duchovny later joked that after the episode, he, quote, realized how old, unquote, he was because he felt sore from all the bowling. He joked, quote, when you get sore from bowling, it's time to start thinking about your life and where it's going, unquote. So, thankfully, mercifully, that's all we have to say about this episode. I would not be surprised, Jeremy, if this ends up in our worst of lists at the end of the season.
Whoa, spoilers.
I'm not spoiling it. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if it ends up there. So yeah, stay tuned next week. We're going to talk about, we got 2 left, the penultimate episode of season 4. We're going to be talking about demons. So hit that like and subscribe and join us next Friday for another episode of eXhuming the X-Files. See you next week, everybody.